What's up, Transformdom? This is Ben here in China, and today we're going to do the unboxing and product review of the 2017 Takara Tomy MP-11 Destron New Leader Starscream. This is the Masterpiece Starscream, and we know that this is the 2017 reissue because of the Long Life Design Award label that is on the bottom right corner of the box. Right off the bat, I got this guy from Anime Export, shipped to me right here to China. Okay, let's take a look at the box. So right here you got the Starscream in the coronation gear, you got the alt mode of Starscream. On the side of the boxes you got the Transformers Masterpiece MP-11 Starscream logos, and at the top you've got the Starscream in the bot mode, and at the bottom you got all sorts of Japanese words and the production stamp right there. And at the back you got Starscream MP-11 in the actual size, and here you got Starscream in his coronation gear, the cape of Starscream that can expand, the face sculpt of Starscream, Starscream with his chest missile launchers, Starscream in an imposing pose, Starscream in the plane mode, the gimmicks, and the pilot that can be put in there. And here are the contents in the box. So without further ado, let's crack this guy open. Here we go. I like to open my boxes from the bottom. That's just the way I roll. Okay. And I got this guy from Anime Export, so you probably know this is a Japanese edition because you got this Japanese things. You got the instruction manual and the collector card. And I am just going to open this guy up, put the box away, and there you go. So let's crack this guy open and see how this compares to the Hasbro Starscream, as well as my memory of how it compared to the original MP-11. So I'll open three sides and keep one side intact. No, that's quite hard. Okay, there you go. Alright, let's get this guy cleaned up and start the product review. So here we have Starscream with all his accessories laid out. So let's take a closer look at Starscream MP-11 himself. So what are my impressions of this MP-11 reissue, 2017 reissue? Well, first things first, I gotta say that this is pretty amazing. It does not flop around, and Takara has definitely fixed the issue of the loose waist syndrome. Also, the joints are pretty tight. So let's do the pec arm. Look at that. When I move the arms up and down, in the old Starscream, this will come up. But now it's pretty stable. So that is a great fix. Joints are all quite tight. My copy has a bit of a loose left shoulder. This is a little loose, but this is tight. Okay, so this is probably my copy. There's probably some stretch marks here. I don't see any stretch marks, so I think it's just not assembled properly, and so I may have to take a closer look after this review. So let's talk about the difference between the Takara Tomy MP-11 Starscream and the Hasbro MP-07 Starscream. And right off the bat, we can see that there is a difference in the paint application. In the MP-11, the arms here, the blue parts are not painted. They are just molded as it is. So molded blue, blue shins, blue heels. But for the Hasbro edition, you have painted forearms, shins, and heels. The fins have a different shade of blue as well. Okay, and then the color of the cockpit canopy is different. You have a darker shade for the MP-11 and a lighter shade for the MP-07. There's also a difference in the paint apps. Here you have two green blinking lights for the alt mode, and for Takara's version you have green and red, just like you would see on real planes. There is a noticeable difference between the plastic quality on the Hasbro compared to the Takara's model. For the Hasbro model, if you take a closer look, you can see a lot of swirling, right? Plastic swirling as the plastic is being injected into the mold and the way that the plastic settles inside the mold. And so it's a bit of glistening, more glistening, but you can really notice the swirling in the plastic. For the Takara version, there's less swirling. All right, I mean, there still are some swirlings that you can see, but it's less of an issue for the Takara version. There's also a difference in the Decepticon temple printing logo. On the Hasbro Starscream, you can see that there's a silver outline, but for the Takara version, there is no silver outline. The face sculpt is also painted slightly different. On the Hasbro version, the face color of the Hasbro Starscream is slightly lighter than the version on Takara. So that's about it, the difference between the Hasbro Starscream and the Takara Starscream. Here's Starscream with his other MP-11 mold, Thundercracker and Skywarp. Here's Starscream with his Season 2 cone heads. Only two of them, waiting for Dirge, coming out as we speak. Gonna probably pick him up from Toy Kingdom in Macau next week. So here you go. And here's Starscream with a bunch of other Transformers so that you know the scale. You have a Minibot, you have Reflector, Ironhide, Hot Rod, Megatron, and Optimus Prime. Alright, let's get MP-11 to pose in some of the action shots. to balance Starscream. So MP-11 is a very old mold, like I said before, and so articulation wasn't the best, balance isn't the best. I mean, how can you balance on this 3 little points here? It's not even a complete foot or feet, or if you're talking about both sides, and there's just no way you can balance Starscream, you know, on one leg. Yeah, so it kind of passes, but for the most part, if I'm to test the balance of the figure, no. So there you have all of MP-11's action poses, and from there you can see that this mode is kind of old. But anyway, let's get this guy transformed to the out mode. Take it away. Alright, so here is Starscream in the out mode, and right from the get-go, you can see that almost like an F-15 plane, and I'm no expert in planes, but so I'm gonna try to describe what the plane has and what are the features in this toy. First, you have I think this is a radar sensor or receiver. When I looked on how stuff works, and this is actually the antenna receiver, or radar warning receiver antenna over here at the vertical stabilizers, and you have the horizontal stabilizers with no flaps. You do have flaps on the wings. Okay, the engine bay is exposed here, so you can just flip this open and you can see the engines in here, and you have articulated thrusters. Okay, articulated flaps. You have an air brake, okay, and you have landing gear, which is kind of weak, but there you go, you have some landing gear, and you have air intakes, and you have a cockpit that can open, the canopy that can open. So let me pull out the wheels, and you can put in your pilot. And this is not the Dr. Arkaville pilot, this is some random pilot with, you know, Star Wars like mask and oxygen tank intake, and then you just put it in front there. No space at the back for anybody for a second pilot, but so that's too bad. And then you close it, and then pew, the pilot is going, flipping upside down, and he's having a turbulence. He's doing whoa, whoa, and whoa. And does the pilot stay in the cockpit? No, he does not. So, folks, put on your seatbelts whenever you can. Okay, here's Starscream compared to other cars, and as you can see, Starscream is way too small. Yeah, just way too small. And here's Starscream compared to the Fans Toys Insecticons. And here's Starscream compared to Fans Toys Grimlock. What do you guys think about the scale? Does it match up? Well, I'm no expert at this, but yeah, it's awesome that Grimlock is so menacing. I love that. I love that. I don't give a hoot if the scale does not match, but that's phenomenal. Alright, so here is MP-11, Takara Tomy's MP-11 and Hasbro's MP-07 Starscream. Right off the bat, we can see the difference in the cone section. This is colored differently. The tempo printing here, Hasbro has the silver lining. You can see that, the silver lining on the Decepticon logos, but Takara's version does not. The color of the tail fins, there is a slight difference. Here is a tint of a darker metallic blue compared to the Takara's version. But other than that, everything is about the same. Okay, so that is it. Let's get back to the final thoughts on Takara Tomy's MP-11 Starscream. Well, there we have Takara Tomy's MP-11 Destron New Leader Starscream in all its glory. What do I like about this guy? First thing, I am pretty happy that they've made improvements to the waist. The waist now stays intact. Okay, not a problem at all. Second thing I like about this guy is that they have made improvements to they have made improvements to the chest pecs. So when I move the arms up and down, the pecs do not move all over the place, which is great for this reissue. The third thing I like about this toy in general is that the plain mode has a lot of gimmicks for any alt mode in this generation. Previous Masterpiece toys in their alt modes just never had so much gimmick, in my opinion. What are the three things that I don't really particularly enjoy about this toy? Well, first things first is that I just don't like the dated mode at the bottom portion of MP-11. First things is that we have vertical stabilizers and horizontal stabilizers that is exposed in the bot mode. If you look at the cartoon source, there is no vertical or horizontal stabilizers in the bot mode. So they did not do anything to hide this. But this is a dated mold, mind you. Second thing I don't like about this is how the feet transforms. I mean, if you look at this, the thrusters, okay, I don't mind how these thrusters are, but the way the feet transforms and how the engine acts as a stabilizer for the heels is just redonkulous. Balancing this toy is not an easy thing, and the lack of ankle pivots just makes it unenjoyable to display and to look at this guy. The third thing I don't like about this guy is the stupid protruding part that we have over here, right from the plane. Whenever I need to turn my foot for this toy, these two pieces can knock each other. These vertical stabilizer and this protruding piece can knock each other, and that's quite irritating indeed, and maybe a cause for some paint scratches. Now, what are my recommendations about this guy? If you don't have any MP-11 modes, I say just hold out a little longer, because a third-party company by the name of Market Toys has released prototype resins of their Seeker molds, and it has a lot more cartoon accuracy to it, although I would argue that their head sculpt does not look the part. Now, if you already have a lot of the Masterpiece Seekers but just don't have MP-11 because you refuse to pay scalpel prices or the Transformers Asia prices for Starscream, then maybe you can get this mold, you know. But be aware that it is a very dated mold. If you don't have any of the Seekers and you cannot wait to get the Seekers, then I can recommend that you can get the KO Plus knockoffs that's out there, right? From BB7 especially. I have fiddled around with BB7's thrust from my good friend Lex, and it feels pretty darn good. The part is a bit dated because they're copying an old mold, but the legs also looks kind of off. Well, this is it from Ben here in China. If you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a comment, tell me what I can do better in my videos. What would you like to see in future videos? Well, that is it from me, and I'll see you on the flip side.